That's what when Conor's doing that. That's what he's doing. He's mocking.
That's hilarious. Mind. Speaking of Conor, how well does he do next week?
Boy, we're gonna find out. We're really gonna find out what's going on if it gets into the second and third rounds. That's when we're really gonna find out.
We'll know.
We'll know immediately
at that point.
But I mean, whether or not he can really fight for 5 rounds, against a
don't
guy
know
with
if he can, man.
with a great gas tank.
Yeah.
Max
After 5 years of tearing your body up,
you don't know, right? Because it's all in a vacuum. Like there's some training footage of him beating guys up that you've seen, but who knows what he actually has been doing? We know he's been partying, but has he also been really training? Because if he's been really training and he shocks everybody because he's still got his skills.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, if he somehow or another sparks out Max in the first round. Do you know how big he becomes?
he's right back.
Right back.
Right back.
I mean, he's
right back. Him and Justin Gaethje, the
That
biggest
would
fight in the
be
history of the known
sick.
universe.
That would be sick.
They go for the BMF title at 170.
Right.
Connor's like, I don't want to cut any weight.
Right.
That fight would be crazy.
My only concern is his size. Like Max struggled with bigger dudes, like Dustin the first time. Then Max came back bigger, which we know because when he went back down, he struggled, with Orlovsky. He went 5 rounds with Justin. So, I'm just waiting to see. Is Conor able to put that fucking weight on him and have a problem?
Is he a bigger dude though? They both fought at the same weight class.
Yeah, they
were
did
both
start
down
at 45.
Yeah,
got
so
a point
Conor
there.
when
went up
Max was
also.
fighting at 145 when he was a champion, he was walking around like 176. He's a big guy.
He's a bigger guy.
Well, good.
He's big.
I mean, I love Max.
And, I think it's going to be interesting to see. Look, Conor in his prime was elite. Conor Eddie Alvarez, if it's that Conor right now fighting Max, I'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's different. That's different.
But can he regain that form?
Right.
We don't know. I mean, he's a special dude. Look at this. Just pop. Talking shit to him.
Dana was losing his mind over there.
Yeah.
There's also COVID, so you could kind of hear him.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's not.
Oh, look at that. Look at that right hand.
Look at it. He wasn't even
And
looking
slip
at
away.
it. Was slipping shit.
I'm the best boxer in the UFC. Look at this. Bro, he's such a bad motherfucker.
Man.
And if he starts talking to Conor like that in the middle of the fight and teeing off on him, if Conor gets tired, it could get rough.
But I still, I agree that there is a chance Holloway is going to take this fight.
Yeah. Who? If I put you on the spot, who would you pick and how?
Max. Yeah.
Max.
I think so. Yeah.
You think he stops him, or could you see this going all 5? Or
I think he's going to stop him.
yeah.
I think. So.
Yeah, and then it opens up all sorts of interesting opportunities. Like both of them are talking about Gaethje at 55. Islam at welterweight. So who knows? There could be a lot of fun stuff. But I think the big thing is, Conor has 1 fight left on the UFC contract after this, and I think he really, really wants to fight for BKFC at some point. Which
nice. I would like to see Conor in BKFC. I think that's his world. I think he'd shine there. Short rounds. You got heavy punches. The tricky part with BKFC is, which I think will be fine for him, is just such a tight circle. It's going to be tough for a lot of footwork. But yeah, I think if he's in there and he's landing some of those big Conor punches, that's going to be fun to see. So
yeah, we'll see if he does it or if the UFC breaks the bank to keep him around, depending on the success of this event.
Yeah, I think it ultimately depends on this fight, right?
Conor McGregor's been out there living his best life. Fair play. Going around the world on his Lamborghini yacht and spending shitloads of dough, right? Fair play to him. But there's one thing he knows how to do, and that's fight. And he knows how to knock people out in the very first round as well. And that first round against Max Holloway is going to be very, very interesting. Max is going to have to be careful. He's not the type of guy to dance around and stay away and just just jab and jog. No, he's going to stand his ground and fight like a man. And that's what's going to make it so dangerous. Because yes, of course, if he gets out of the first round and it goes to the second and the third round, Conor McGregor was never a cardio machine. He was always a guy that tended to fade in the prime of his career. And if he struggled going into the later rounds in the prime of his career when he was coming up, he's certainly going to struggle now when the man's pushing 40 and he hasn't fought in 5 years. Has he trained hard for this fight? Of course he has, 100%. Has he pushed himself harder than what he was doing in 2013, 14, 15? I don't know. I don't know if that's even possible when you have accumulated all the wealth, when you've knocked it out of the park, when you've conquered the game already, do you still have to train quite as hard, right? Because if he has done, then maybe. But even when he was, because he had to have been back in the day, he still got tired the longer the fight.
I've never ever made a secret of it. I'm a massive Conor fan, but I'm also a massive Max fan. You know, Conor started coming up when I was just starting out my pro career. His UFC run started. So he was a guy that I genuinely looked up to as I progressed in the sport. Imagine this. Imagine Conor beating Max Holloway and getting that title shot.
I think if there's one guy who can rip up the script, it's Conor McGregor.
As he's done so many times. Yeah. I'm going with the Mac. I'm never going against it. I'm never going against Conor. Yeah, okay. No matter against, like Max Holloway, massive fan, love him. He's a great fighter, and you know he's a deserving of everything that he's gotten and all the praise. But I can't go against Conor.
Where do you think Conor could win the fight?
You know, Conor has that scary timing. He has that scary timing. Everybody that's fought him says that. Yeah. That timing, and he has that sneaky power. Everybody that fights him says when he hits you, you feel it. Yeah. You know, it just takes one. It just takes one. Ilya knocked out Max. You know, so it can be done. Yeah.
The clock is ticking, and the buzzing is getting louder and louder as the upcoming match begins to right itself. Predictions from experts, analysts, and ex-fighters are on a roll as everyone chips in on who will emerge victorious from this fight once the cage doors close. Will Conor McGregor's power and headline-making bravado outdo Max Holloway's never-ending pace and volume? The upcoming seasoned fighters and experts weigh in on who truly holds the edge?
Yeah, I think Conor McGregor is going to be dangerous everywhere. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if you guys see that freaking stupid ass stat, but Conor has like 5 takedowns and 4 of them is me. So it's not only his left hand, he might in his back pocket think, I can wrestle this guy maybe, you know? Yeah. And then everybody keep talking about his leg, but I think Conor kicks, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, there's a lot more than just his left hand, you know? And if Conor's thinking only his left hand, then he's already behind in the fight. So I think so. We're going to see a very dangerous mixed martial
25-minute fight. 155 versus 170. But the thing about Conor at 170, he's going to thump. He's going to thump. His punches are going to be heavy and hard. So Max is going to have to be very, very alert early on. That first 10 minutes of that fight, Max cannot sit there and exchange with him. Conor's going to be stalking him down, maybe trying to stomp his leg a bit, ripping 3-2s, throwing heavy bouts. So this video here was posted about 5 months ago on the Mac Life page. Him getting ready and looking thick. Thick Conor's a scary Conor, and he's a springy dude. Springy dude. Orthodox there. Ripping bodies, ripping juicers of the guts. We love those. Springing into a left knee. And he's looking like, I mean, vintage Conor, the nasty left hand. Nasty left hand. I guarantee you Max Holloway is not going to be sitting against the fence.
To start off, Tim Welch offers a simple and ominous read. If the opening phase goes McGregor's way, with his fight-ending left hooks, Holloway cannot afford to trade in the pocket or let himself be pinned. He will need movement and volume to avoid getting crossed up while he chases the later rounds. The clash of early power versus sustained output is where the fight will be decided.
He doesn't have tits. He doesn't have tits or love handles at 170. So you can see it on the countdown. Max is looking fit. We're going to see vintage Max Holloway. I almost guarantee it. Are we going to see vintage Conor McGregor? I don't know. I do believe in this first 5-10 minutes, Conor McGregor is going to look better than ever. He's going to come out there, look composed, throwing his lead uppercut, boom, 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 slipping outside his 2, really making Max miss. But Max knows better. He knows how good of a counterpuncher Conor is. And I know Max is sparring with guys like Keone Diggs, this guy we used to train with, and the kid's got a lightning left hand. He's a great...
Welch proceeds to paint a scene where Holloway strolls into the cage looking every bit the machine he is known to be. But McGregor also arrives in his sharpest fighting shape yet, all tense spring and a lead uppercut that snaps heads back. The initial 5 to 10 minutes read like Irishman's comeback, precise counters, impeccable footwork, and hunting the big shot, while Holloway leans on the patience and guile he he's built into his game. A classic screenplay of style is the setup Welch sells. A thunderous opening act from McGregor versus Holloway's long second-half march.
Guess what? 5 years away from the sport or not, he's still the biggest draw and attraction in all of mixed martial arts. And I don't think there'll ever be another one. But anyway, he's coming back against Max Holloway, right? It's been 5 years. He's almost 38 years old. Is he out of his mind? Do we think that he can do this? Because when you look at the stylistic matchup, right, it's going to be dangerous for Conor McGregor. Max Holloway, he calls himself the best boxer in the UFC. Max Holloway doesn't have that one-punch knockout power, but he wears people down. And that's why it's Max Holloway that in the final 10 seconds, that's why he points at the ground, not at the start of the fight, not in the first 10 seconds like Ilia Topuria wanted to do. He doesn't do that because he's not a knockout artist. But when he's landing hundreds, if not thousands of punches in a fight, and he's wearing you down over 5 rounds, in those last 10 seconds, yeah, when you're beaten to a bag of shit, he's very confident that he can knock you out. Like against Justin Gaethje, it was that spinning back kick right to the face at the end of round 1. That really started the decline for Justin Gaethje. But then he just picked him apart, used his length, used his footwork, used his reach. Beautiful combinations, of course, threw that spinning back kick a bunch of times as well. And then in the final 10 seconds, got the knockout. One of the craziest knockouts that the sport has ever seen. Okay?
Not everyone takes such a cinematic view as Welch, as Michael Bisping sees this matchup as a high-stakes spectacle. Stylistically, the fight is a nightmare for McGregor. What makes Holloway so dangerous for him is the boxing-based accumulation that breaks opponents over 5 rounds. McGregor can still ignite the crowd with a flash KO, but the smarter storyline favors Holloway's steady breakdown plan and the clock.
Conor's just, he's not a marathon runner. He's a sprinter. By all metrics, he is a sprinter. So, you have a decision guy versus a sprinter. And again, one of the advantages for Conor is, let's say that ring rust is real for him, which it will be to feel it out. But let's say it's real and he zigged when he should have zagged. You're probably not going to get knocked out by Max Holloway in the first 1 or 2 rounds. You're still okay. Now, if you're fighting Ilia Topuria, you're fighting some of these other heavy punchers, that's a different story. So again, all this is advantages for Conor. Now, all this being said, we have no clue what version of Conor we're going to get.
Furthermore, Brendan Schaub picks up where Bisping left off and draws the fight into sharper focus. McGregor explodes, makes a statement, and often leaves the long haul to someone else. It gives him a clear upside early on. However, Schaub admits the caveat everyone's thinking: if McGregor's ring rush shows, the window for his victory narrows. But against a volume fighter like Holloway, those early advantages matter more than they would versus a pure knockout artist. The fight's narrative could hinge on whether McGregor's sprint turns into a decisive burst or simply the opening act for Max's late rally sequel.
They're fighting at 70, right?
70, which I think is a huge advantage for Conor.
You think it's a huge advantage for Conor?
Yes.
Really? Just because he's bigger, stronger?
He's had how long off, and he got himself out of the testing protocol to put on the weight the right way. Conor's a big cat. Max Holloway probably walks around at 172. Max?
Is that true? I thought he was heavier than that.
172, 173? 172, maybe 174.
Really?
Like he'll have to cut maybe 3 pounds.
Really?
170 is not ideal for Max. It's ideal for Conor.
Why is it not ideal for him though?
Because there's this misconception, and Rogan spreads this too, and you guys haven't fought. So when they go, well, it'd be better if he fought at if he fought at his true weight 170, that doesn't, just because he walks around at 170 doesn't mean that's his ideal weight.
Yeah.
His ideal, it's like,
because he may not be in shape, right?
Or his timing, or he's not as fast, or there's a number of things.
He gets up to 190, they say. But he's vague. His frame is not a 190 frame, though.
I promise you, he's not one. What is this, Google? Chat?
It's ChatGPT.
Yeah, no.
He's not. His frame is not. So he probably is at 175. He's not.
So here you go.
him-
So since moving permanently to lightweight, today he likely enters camp somewhere 171.
Schaub shifts the lens to weight and frame in his talk with Brian Callen. McGregor is the naturally bigger man who can add meaningful mass without sacrificing power. Even if Holloway strolls around near 172, 175, the cut to 170 and the fight's pace could blunt his timing and speed. The scale itself could tilt the early narrative toward McGregor. Brendan's verdict closes on weight being a silent but decisive factor.
Conor, Max, early thoughts on the matchup, Jorge?
I think it's going to be a good fight with Max. Like I've been saying, I'm riding with Max. I'm betting the house on Max. I think Max is going to make it non-competitive. At some point, after like a minute or two in the fight, Max is just going to take over.
Yeah.
You know, all the experience that he's put together in these 5 years, staying in shape is the number one thing, as we all know as fighters. If you got a Ferrari versus a Honda Civic, but the Ferrari has a quarter tank of gas, it's going to lose every time. So I think Max just gets it done.
On the flip side, Jorge Masvidal throws a contrarian beat. He is backing Holloway outright, slipping the early power and slowly turning the fight into a one-sided affair. Holloway's conditioning and fight IQ will outwork any early flash his opponent brings. In Masvidal's telling, McGregor's pop matters, but it won't be enough to derail Max's plan once the tide turns, and that's where the real drama will live. Chris Weidman doubles down on the narrative. On paper, he believes the matchup looks weak for McGregor. Between a 5-year layoff, a serious injury, and the clock ticking against a natural machine like Holloway, Weidman sees McGregor's risks outweighing his chances of winning. The later rounds are a hostile place for a sprinter like him to survive, and that is exactly what Holloway will be gunning for. Conversely, Chad Mendes offers a measured counterpoint. While the ring rust and aging curve do hinder a fighter, but these losses aren't unsurmountable. Mendes sees skills, strong preparation, and mental toughness as variables that throw a comeback fighter into the mix. If McGregor has built himself up back through the right work, Mendes is cautiously optimistic that he can win. Taking a varied approach, Big John McCarthy sees a trend of growth and pause. White Holloway has been consistently fighting and evolving. McGregor has been sitting on the sidelines, rehabbing and reinventing. McCarthy sees Holloway's steady ascent accumulating into a stylistic advantage over time. McCarthy, however, also returns to the tactical side of the matchup. Like many others, he views McGregor's advantages stacking up in the opening scenes, but the longer the fight goes, the more the edge drifts towards Holloway. McCarthy's advice is like a game plan for Holloway: survive the early barrage and turn the middle rounds into a grind where volume and conditioning decide the night. According to Suga Sean, a McGregor knockout would be an absolute mic drop moment, undeniable proof that the comeback wasn't a flash, but a full return to form. He also notes how much narrative weight a methodical 5-round win would carry, setting up tantalizing rematches and legacy questions. Whether it's a sudden KO or a steady game plan that steals the scorecards, Sean says either result would change the conversation. Going further, Eric Jackson pivots to the promotional theater being the matchup. The powers that be need a McGregor win the immediate fireworks, big paydays and headlines, but he is unlikely to run the division afterwards. Jackson also raises the hard truth about McGregor's window, as this could be one of his last 1 or 2 UFC fights, which makes the stakes both sporting and commercial when you weigh who the company wants to see walk away with the victory. No matter which way the pros slice it, this fight reads like a crossroads. McGregor's sprinting violence against Holloway's grinding marathon. Tonight we'll see whether the comeback spark turns into a knockout headline or a fading echo as Holloway's engine takes over. Who wins at UFC 329, Conor McGregor or Max Holloway? Let us know your prediction in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more MMA content.